What's up guys, this is Shah here, and today we're going to be talking about a few real estate myths that should be debunked. I see many of you guys believe and follow these myths, which really hurts your chances in getting to a property, or if you follow these myths, it would take you forever to get into your first property. So let's start off these debunks. Myth number 1, you need 20% down payment to buy a home, and that is a myth. There's many loan options out there where you can put less than 20% down, as long as you're living in the property. If you're not going to be living in the property and using it as an investment, then you have to put 20% down. There are many loan options out there for you to put less than 20% down, such as FHA and conventional loans where you can put 3% down if it's your first time property and you're living in it. There's also USDA loans where if you're under a certain income threshold and you're buying properties in rural areas, you can qualify to put 0% down on some of those properties. There are also VA loans, so if you are a veteran or an active serving member of the military, you could qualify for a VA loan, which is 0% down. Just know that if you're ever going to be investing into a property, you would have to put 20% down. I just want to add as a side note that if you're putting less than 20% down, you're going to be putting PMI. And you see people say this, that it's bad. Well, let me put this scenario out to you. If you're going to be buying a $200K property and you're putting 3% down, that is around a $6,000 down payment. Now, just a down payment. There's other closing costs involved. But if you were going to put 20% down on a $200K property, that's going to be $40,000 that you have to save just down payment alone. So yeah, you could be paying an extra $100, $200 for a PMI cost, but do you really want to save up to $40K for that down payment, or start off your property buying journey with $6,000? So yes, you're paying PMI, but it's also a matter of, do you want to wait till saving to $40K or $6K? That's your choice right there. Myth number 2, spring is the best. Myth number 2, spring and summer is the best time to sell. And this is partially true, but when you're selling your property, you have to have a reason why you're selling. And depending on that reason, it doesn't matter what time it is. Now in spring and summer, there are way more buyers and sellers in the market, so there's way more transactions going on. But if you're a seller during the springtime, you're also going to have way more competitions, because there could be also more properties on the market that are very similar to yours that now you are basically in competition with. Those buyers could go for that property or your property. Now in winter, there's going to be way less buyers out there because it's winter, and there's going to be way less sellers out there also. So the options for a buyer is also less than. So sometimes, depending on your situation, you could probably get a good deal during the winter since you're the only property available. Good thing about real estate is that you can always create your own deals. This is not like the stock market where you have a fixed number to buy a stock at and it happens at certain market trends. With real estate, you can create your own deals. In the winter doesn't mean that you're going to get a less deal or it's going to stay on market longer. Sometimes your property can go real quick because you're the only property in the area that people want, and that will go automatically. In the spring and summer, if there's 3 or 4 different properties like yours in the area, it might make it a bit harder to sell. It might take some time. So depending on your reason of selling, that shouldn't stop you from selling in the winter or spring. Like for example, let me give you one scenario. If you're trying to upsize your home and you found a really good deal in the winter and you need to sell your property to pay for that deal, then you probably should sell it, because you have the opportunity to get into a better deal. In the winter, you should sell your property. Sometimes in the winter, as a buyer, you can get some good deals that way. So if you really need to switch or do something, it's a good idea. Myth number 3 is renovations will always increase your value. And this is a myth, and I have made a video about this on how to raise your ROI of your property. But there are special renovations that you can do to raise your value, and there are also renovations that would just waste your money. Depending on your neighborhood and the condition of your property and what other properties are done in the area, that's what you should base your renovations off. So depending on the type of renovations, you might be wasting your money, you might be making money. For example, renovations such as updating your kitchen from like a 1980s kitchen, updating the bathrooms, and stuff like that from a very outdated home to a newer home can be good. Now, adding stuff like a pool, an electric fireplace, and things like that might not necessarily raise your value in your property. So it really depends on the type of renovations that you do. If you have any questions about renovations, always comment down below or hit me up. I can help guide you on what will sell and what wouldn't sell. Myth number 4, a real estate agent's only incentive is to close a deal quickly. And that really depends. Some agents do act like that and some agents don't. But many won't. Let me explain this for a second here. If an agent or me, we do a good job with you, you will send us more business in the future, such as referrals or second properties, or you're going to be repeat clients. And we would much rather have that than make an extra couple $100 on a deal. Second of all, as a real estate agent, I don't want you spreading a bad word about me. If I help you with the investment property deal and it goes really bad and you blame it on me, I'm not going to want that. I want you to be happy so you can send me future business. Essentially, just remember, real estate agents are working for long-term relationships and business. And if they're not really working their business that way, then they're doing a bad job as a real estate agent, because if you want to be a successful real estate agent, a lot of them you work on repeat clients, referrals from other clients. So that's my goal here from you. I want you to send me to other your friends and your family. I don't want you to feel pissed off at me and then I run away with my extra $100 or $200. Us agents make on average 3% per commission per property deal, as of right now, before this NAR settlement thing or whatever's happening. If you do the math here, for extra $10,000, $20,000, we're not going to be making that much extra money in a deal. So if you really think about it, I would much rather keep you as a client and future deals than make an extra couple $100 and then just fuck off from your life. Myth number 5. Pricing is based off interior amenities of a property and the property itself. And I'm going to tell you that's not true. There's a lot of things that factor into a price of a property, not just the insides and the outsides of property. They do have a small factor to play, right? But for a good part too, a property's pricing is based on location and area. If it's near essential services, if it's near a hospital, if it's near good schools, if it's near good public transportation, shopping centers, a mall, a downtown, these things have a huge factor to play in the price of a property. If your property is absolute shit and it's in rehab condition, you can still sell for a couple $100,000 in some neighborhoods just because the city is really well. I've seen vacant land sell for $300,000-$400,000 in a downtown city because the land is super high demand. So just remember that location has a huge factor to play in the price of property. Now, if your property is rehab needed and there's another property that's not rehab needed and it's the same type of property, yeah, that property that does not need the rehab is going to sell for more because it's livable. It doesn't mean the property could sell for a good price for what it is. If it's in a good area, it could sell really quickly. Myth number 6, you can't buy a house with bad credit. This is a myth because you want to know what? You can buy a house in cash. No credit needed. But also, let's say you do have a really low credit score. If you talk to a loan officer, they have many options such as rapid rescore, or even if you talk to me or a loan officer, we can help you get onto a path of raising your credit score. It only can take a couple months to raise your credit score, you know that. And with FHA and many loan options, they have low credit score options for like 620 credit scores. So you don't have to have like an 820 or 740 credit score to buy a property. It can improve your chances for getting a better rate or something like that and better closing costs. But if you have a low credit score and you really want to get into a property, or if you're just not a credit savvy guy, you can always buy real estate through other ways. There's other options out there. Now, if you have any other questions about real estate, or if you have any other myths that you heard, feel free to comment or ask me about them. My name is Shah. I'm from The Real Brokerage. Thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a great day.